All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you again for being here, for registering for our first webinar of 2020. So if you're kind of new to these webinars, we try to do a monthly webinar where we talk about a specific topic. They tend to be quick webinars because we know how busy everybody is. So along those same lines, thank you for being here. I do know how busy everybody's day gets. So taking the time to attend this today, just want to say thank you for that. Today's webinar is going to be focused on how InspectPoint can help you reach your goals. Most specifically, looking and taking a look at what are the support options that are available to you, what are some of what we refer to as our customer success options that are available to you, and just overall, our objective of just trying to make sure that 2020 is an effective year and that we can do everything that we can to help you get to where you want to be. So for those of you who I have not spoken with before, my name is Jennifer Doyle. That is my face up on the screen there. I am the Vice President of Customer Success and Support here at InspectPoint. So you can probably hear me and have heard me on some of the training videos, or we maybe have spoken on the phone. But if this is the first time you have heard my voice or we have connected, welcome today. So a little bit of general housekeeping. I like to do this right up in the beginning. We are actually using a new software to host today's webinar. So there's a couple new things that I wanted to chat about. Just so everybody knows, you may have noticed, everyone is currently muted. So if you do have any questions, there is a question box along the left side of your screen. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in to that area and we will address any and all questions that come our way at the end of the webinar. Today's webinar should be on the faster side, about 15-20 minutes or so. So like I said, leave us about 10 minutes or so if there are any questions. Now, I am going to attempt to make this webinar a little interactive. It will be our first time giving this a go. One of those new little features that we have with this software is the ability for you to raise your hand if I ask a question. So we're going to give it a go, see if it works well, and like I said, just see how it goes. So if I ask you to raise your hand, there's a little raise hand icon over on the left-hand side, kind of on your little control panel for your GoToWebinar. If you click that button, that'll raise your hand, and then I will be able to see any and all hands that are raised for any questions that I ask. If it doesn't work out, don't worry. It's something new. We'll give it a try. So, what are we going to cover today? What we're going to go over is sort of the best ways to get a hold of our product support team. And then along those sort of same lines is when are we available to chat, and what are some of the documentation resources that we have available when we're not available and open for like immediate responses. Also going to go over our Teachable account. So you may have heard us or maybe have seen us send you a link that's Teachable. And you're like, what is this Teachable thing? Well, that's where we're hosting our online training platform or all of our training videos. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, I'm going to kind of show you what it's all about. And then just talk a little bit more about what to expect with that link in our online training and what's available. And then some new and exciting news as some support options that are coming out later this quarter, as well as a couple of those sort of consultation success type things that are coming out later this quarter. So I figured I'd start with a little definition, right? A little dictionary definition of product support. So product support is a service that provides the end user with a resource for information regarding the product and help if that product should malfunction. So that is our primary goal with our support department here at InspectPoint. We are here to provide answers to questions that may come up about the product. And if something is not working, that is our job to try to figure out what's happening and then offer solutions or keep you in the loop as to, hey, that is actually an issue. This is when it will be resolved. So there's a couple of ways that you can get a hold of us at InspectPoint for support. Main one is, of course, email support. When in doubt, you can always email support@inspectpoint.com. That email right there automatically goes into our support program that we use, which is Zendesk, and creates a support ticket. And from there, we have multiple agents and multiple support representatives that are able to see that. So oftentimes, if you do email one of the customer success team members a direct email, you may often notice that you then get a response from someone in support. And that's because that email is being forwarded over to the support channel so more people are able to see the ticket. So when in doubt, if you have any questions or you need assistance, always email support@inspectpoint.com. We also have the web widget that's available inside the product. Now I'm going to show you the web widget and I'm going to show you our help desk. So I'll show you where the widget is, but the widget is great to use if you're inside the product and you are just stuck on something. You need assistance, you're just a little unsure how this one particular feature works, or you're trying to do something and it's not working. You can just open up the web widget and submit a ticket that way by giving us your name, your email, and letting us know what's happening. Lastly, there's a phone support as well. So phone support is one of those options, though, that is not available to all users. So I do apologize on that behalf, but it's not available to everybody. If you are wondering if your instance or your plan has phone support, just shoot us over an email and we can let you know if it does. And if it doesn't, we can talk about pricing options. Now, phone support is a great to have, but we can 99% of the time get everything done through email and web widget. But if it's something you want to add on to your plan, just like I said, reach out to us and we can have a conversation with you. Now, our support hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And during that time, we are available. Like I said, there's multiple people in there monitoring the tickets that are coming in, answering the phones. And we do provide a 24-hour response time guarantee. So you will always hear from us within a 24-hour window. Now, because of the complexity and I guess just the niche nature of the industry and of the software itself, we cannot always guarantee a 24-hour resolution time. You will always hear from us and we will always acknowledge that we have gotten your ticket and we'll let you know, hey, we're looking into it. We'll always contact you if we need more information in order to resolve the issue. But sometimes just due to testing and reaching out to other team members or anything like that, we may need more than 24 hours to resolve the ticket. But like I said, you will always hear from us and we will always let you know what's going on with your ticket within that 24-hour time frame. Now, along those same lines, the documentation I've mentioned a couple of times now, that is always available 24/7. And our documentation is also available via the web widget. It's the best way to access it, especially because you might not know the link to access our documentation. But documentation, every key feature in the product, any questions that we commonly get, maybe something that someone asks and we realize a couple other people are asking about it, we'll add that to our documentation or our knowledge base. Or if you've ever heard us say help desk, that's where we're referring to. So we have an extensive list of documentation of how things work. And if you take a look at the documentation, you're like, I still don't get it. Or maybe you're searching and you don't see that piece of documentation, you can always reach out and submit the support ticket and we can either direct you to the documentation or we can provide you with step-by-step guides. And then that's a good trigger for us that we know people are asking about this. So we'll create documentation. So for next time, if there is a next time, you would be able to search and find what you need. Now, in the end of 2019, we started doing something a little bit different with our trainings and our onboardings. So if you're newer to InspectPoint, you're probably used to this new training and onboarding that you've been seeing. But some of the older customers that are on today, we've sort of changed around some of our onboardings. So just to give to give you some, I guess, background as to what's going on new and exciting for people coming on is we have switched our trainings to the online portal. And we have done that in an attempt to replace the live trainings with actual consultations. Through doing the trainings live for several years, we found that more questions came up after the fact, which is good, right? You're in there, you're playing around with it, questions come up, and that's a good thing. But then it didn't leave much time for you to kind of work through what you were going through and ask questions. Am I doing this correctly? Can you jump in and take a look at it? So now what we've done is completely switched the training to an online, which I'm going to show you, which is the Teachable. And we now replaced it with consultations. Now, all new users coming onto InspectPoint have those consultations built into sort of their onboarding. Older customers, and I hate to say older customers, but those of you who have been with us for a while now, thanks for sticking through. But we know that sometimes questions come up, right? You may be using InspectPoint for 2 years, but a new feature's come out, and you really want to have a chance to talk it through with someone. You might just be saying, "Hey, I've used this for 2 years, but am I doing this the right way? How are others using it?" And that's when consultations come into play. And so we're really trying to provide more time for us to hop on the phone with you, to really work through things, because that seems to be a best use of time for everybody involved. Really have your questions out and have those answered. So at the beginning of the year, I sent out an email offering out an hour-long consultation to any customers that wanted to meet with me. We've had really great response. My calendar in January has been completely full, and it's been great. I've had some really great conversations with people. Brittany has been having some great conversations, some great questions coming up. It's helped spark some feature requests. It's helped spark some new documentation. So if you are one of those people who you are like, maybe I should get on that consultation, or maybe, I just have a few questions, email me if you lost the link to reserve a time. And we can get a consultation on the calendar for you. Now, I wanted to take a quick look and kind of show you some of these things that I've been talking about. How do you locate these resources that'll help you better utilize the InspectPoint platform? Now, before I do, and like I said, this is a new feature, so I'm going to try it out here and see if it works. But how many of you have seen or used our help desk? So have used the documentation, seen any of the documentation, and searched for it, whether it's been through the web widget or via the site itself. All right, perfect. So I'm seeing some hands raised. Perfect. All right, perfect. This is great. I love this feature. All right, perfect. All right, so it looks like we've had a decent amount of people that have used the web widget, have used the help desk. And if you haven't, that's okay. That's what I'm here to kind of show you how to find it and what you can do with it. So perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna put those hands back down. Perfect. All right. Well, that feature worked out well. I'm kind of excited about it. So I'll start with that help desk, the one that I just mentioned beforehand. So up on my screen right now is our online help desk. So if you go to, inspectpoint.com or inspectpoint.com, inspectpoint.zendesk.com. There we go. That's what I'm trying to get out. That is where we host all of our online documentation. So here you'll see we try to break it down into key components of the software. So if you're looking for something very specific to the web backend part of InspectPoint, we break it down to the back end, and then we break it down into different features or different sections of the product. So that way you don't have to scroll through sort of everything. We do the same thing with the iPad, and then we have a frequently asked questions. So as I was saying beforehand, if there's a question that you're having, there is most likely someone else that's having the same question, and that's okay. It's a good time for you to ask those questions to us, because we can then add those questions to our frequently asked questions section. This we're evaluating and redoing as sort of an objective in 2020 is to really hone in and make sure that our documentation is easy to search for and it's up to date. Some questions from before may not be the same commonly asked questions that we're seeing. So we're going to be updating this. Now, the best thing about this is we've got this whole site here, right, where you can search for your documentation. You can come up here and you can say how to generate, let me see, a proposal. And I have how to create a proposal. So I can get step-by-step documentation on how to create that proposal. I can see all the different types of responses. So sometimes, like I said, we're trying to figure and filter this down a little bit more. But as you can see, the documentation provides you step-by-step guides as to how to do certain things within the product. Now, I mentioned that we have the web widget. Now, the web widget, and kind of piggybacking off of our online help desk, you've got your web widget down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. This right here, if you click onto it, the first thing you are presented with is the option to search. And how can we help you when you search in there? If I do create a proposal, I'm presented with the options for documentation, and I can click right in there. I can see it, and like this might be just a little too small for me. So if I just tap the button right there, it's going to expand it and I can see the full article. If you submit a support ticket, jumping back over to this web widget, if say you're searching in here and you're just not seeing what you need to see, or you're not seeing the answer that you're seeing, you can contact us by clicking the Contact Us button. And when you do that, what it's going to do is going to ask you for your name, your email, and then some information from you in regards to what's the kind of the question, where you stuck. And now when you submit this, that will open up a support ticket. And we will see your name, we will see your email, and we will see your question or the issue that you're reaching out to us about. Now, the only thing with this web widget is it doesn't ask for a lot of information from you. So there is sometimes when there may have to be a little bit of back and forth between us, right? Between you and me, just to gather more information. And the reason why we do that is to be able to gather as much information as we can, because we need to try to replicate the issue on your end. So you might oftentimes hear us say that in a support ticket. Oh, can I have some more information because I need to replicate? What we try to do on our end is for every issue that's ever brought to the table, we take a step-by-step of what you've done. We try to do the same exact thing. If we can replicate, what we then do is we take a video of ourselves doing, record our screen of whatever we were able to do to replicate the issue you're experiencing, and then we let the technical team know about that as well. That's then reviewed by the technical team, and then they can help with fixes on it. If we're unable to replicate, oftentimes what we'll do is we'll ask for a little bit more information. And then what we'll do is record our screen to show you what we're doing, to see if what you're doing and what we're doing are the same things, and we can make sure that we're both doing it. It's just hard sometimes, of course, because we can't see each other's screens. It would be great if we could, but sometimes we can't. So there's a little back and forth at times. Now, completely switching gears from the product itself, switching over to the online training. So the online training, I will just go ahead and I will go my courses. The online training portion is, or the online teachable account. I'm logged in on the admin side of it, so it'll look a little bit different when you register and you sign up. But the online training portal is where we've taken everything that we've ever done in live trainings and webinars and anything like that, and we've broken it into easy to digest courses, right? Because there's a lot of different components to InspectPoint. There's the backend side, there's the iPad side, there's the scheduling, there's the report generation, there's proposals, and we're about to throw a whole other thing into the mix with service pretty soon. So we have taken the trainings and broken them into courses. Now, if you register for this, it's completely free. All of your office can get access to this. It is 100% free of charge. We want everybody to be able to know how to use this product and look for different ways to do things, and then let us know how you're doing it, because that's what makes the product better. Gives us examples that we can give other people. And then also if there's something that's not working, it means we can make adjustments and tweaks to it. So our course curriculum is broken down into a little bit easier to digest videos, how to add things, how to set up your instance. Along the way, you'll have sort of a progress of to how far along you are with that particular course. And the same thing goes for your iPad. So some people, instead of what they're doing live trainings of the tech for the technician side of it, is they're saying, bringing in their techs and they're saying, okay, let's all watch these videos together. They're learning together in the room. They're asking each other questions, and the specific videos go over, okay, how do I just do sprinklers and assets? How do I do backflows? How do I just do a fire alarm inspection? And it starts from start to finish, performing the inspection, submitting back the inspection. So this is available to everyone. I am going to send out another email, kind of customer-wide, about the teachable links if in the next couple of weeks. If you want access to that prior, send me over an email and I will get you the sign up link, the registration link to get into this teachable account. It does require that you just sign up, give your email, create a password, but it's free. There's no charge for it, and that's the biggest thing I want to nail home. It is 100% free. We just want everybody, like I said, to feel like they're comfortable using the product. So switching back to the presentation here, some new support and success additions that are coming in the next quarter or so. Phone support for all users. Now, I wish that I could just do phone support for everybody, but it is right now the way that phone support worked in the past is that the only way that you could get phone support is if you are in a particular plan. So you had to be in a certain pricing plan or in a certain tier. Now you can always add support on. There's a new sort of addition when service comes out, which is going to be in Q2. So I'm going to have a whole webinar on service in March, and talking about like what the pricing upgrade would be to add service, which would be comparable to when you add service, basically gives you phone support. So phone support is coming. It will be an additional charge. So if you're not utilizing our service program, what would it be for you to get phone support? Like I said, if you're interested in phone support, just reach out to us, let us know. We can talk pricing, we can talk about how it would all work and all of that. The next thing is live chat. So we have attempted this in the past, but just due to size of team and tickets coming in, we just really weren't able to really sustain live chat. There's some new additions coming to the support team within the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited about. I think they'll be great additions. So you're going to see some new names popping up, answering the phones and answering your emails, which will be very exciting. And with that, we're now able to offer live chat. So within the next couple of weeks, you will soon have the option to get in touch with us via email, via live chat, via the web widget, and phone if that is something that's part of your plan. Speaking of the web widget, we are improving that support web, the support web widget. That's a little tongue tie right there. So we're improving that widget to ask for more information. Because we do find that sometimes there is a little bit of back and forth, and it does delay the response and the resolution. Just because we're asking for more information, you need to provide it to us, and there's just a back and forth. So what we're going to do is improve that web widget to ask for a little bit more information. So it'll ask, are you calling or you looking for information in regards to the iPad or the back end? It'll guide you. It will require you to fill in more fields, but we're hoping that in exchange for that, it will require less back and forth, which will in turn decrease the amount of time it takes to resolve the ticket for you. We're going to be updating our documentation to improve the search results that you're provided. Documentation is an ever-evolving, we've been doing documentation since the existence of InspectPoint. So we have some documentation in there that's five plus years old. We're going to be going in, making sure it's searchable. It's got up-to-date pictures. The pictures are clear. The steps are clear. Maybe some pages have changed. So we're really going to be beefing up that so that if you do search for our documentation. You're presented with the most up-to-date information you can for how to do whatever it is you're looking to do inside of InspectPoint. And consultations. So like I've mentioned, consultations have been a huge success for us so far in an attempt to, like I said, answer questions, get on the phone, have a real conversation instead of us just kind of talking at you and saying, here's how you do it, good luck, go away, good luck, go to it. So consultations will be coming out to consultation emails to all customers will be going out twice a year, once at the beginning of the year and once in the middle of the year. So if you've missed this round, like I said, you can always email me and we can try to get something on the calendar. If not, if you're like, maybe I need to do it a little later, keep your eyes peeled for about the June, July timeframe when I'm going to send another round of emails and say, hey, let's get some time on the calendar and answer those questions you have. See if we can really make this a huge success for you, see where you might be stuck type of thing. So some key takeaways just from today. I just want to let everybody know we are here to help. On our side of the whole entire company and as a whole, we're all here to help. But our goal with support and success is to help, to really be your champions. And that's what we really take a lot of pride in the fact that, when something comes in and there's something that's not working, if there's a request that you have, we are your champions. We are in the product with you. We hear what you're saying, and we really want to be your champions, and we're truly here to help you with anything that comes up along the way. We are 100% committed to the success and growth of your companies as well. So once again, as feature requests come in, we do present them to the team. Everything is always evaluated, and anything that we can do to help you on your end is always listened to. And we hope that a lot of the support that we provide helps with it, the success and the growth of your company as well. We're providing more options for you to get in touch with us later this quarter. So there's more ways for you to get a hold of us if you need help with something. And then we're also going to be adding in a monthly communication. So almost like a oh goodness, I'm just totally blanking out on what it is. Newsletter. That's what I wanted to say. We're going to be a newsletter where we're going to have our webinar recordings placed in there. We're going to have videos of things that other customers are asking about. We're going to ask commonly asked questions. We'll have maybe some industry news in there if there's anything that we can find. If there's anything you want to share of something great that worked well for you that you want to share with other customers, we'd love to put that into our newsletter. That's going to become a regular thing too, is monthly communication with everyone. So that's kind of all I have for today. This definitely went a little longer than I thought it was going to. My run-throughs were a lot faster, but so I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. But at this time, I just want to see if there's any questions that we have. So if you haven't asked a question yet, if you have a question about anything that we went over now, support, success, you just want to say anything, I have the chat area opened so I can see any and all questions or comments or anything that are placed into that area. And if anyone has any difficulty or anything like that, adding any of that information in there, any notes or questions or anything like that, if you're having any trouble locating that or doing anything, just raise your hand and I might be able to unmute. Maybe you can ask your question that way if you feel more comfortable asking your question aloud for everyone to hear. Okay. All right, well, I don't see any questions or anything coming through, so that's not a bad thing, or any comments or anything. But what I am going to do is go that way. I do want to thank all of you again for attending. Like I said, I know everybody is super busy. If anything comes up, any questions come up, you know how to get a hold of us. Email us at support@inspectpoint.com and we will help. We will listen and we will do everything we can to help with your issues. But oh, it looks like I've got a question. Hold on just one second. Perfect. Okay, so service is the big teaser. I like that. So the question is, can you expand on the service module at all? So great question. The service module is going to start becoming available in probably early Q2. So we're talking like April-ish, May timeframe. We're currently in the beta testing phase of it. But basically the way that the service module is going to work is it's going to live right inside of InspectPoint. You have the ability to add materials. You have the ability to create work orders. Those work orders are dispatched out to the iPad just like an inspection would be. With that, you're going to see the addition of what we're referring to as our schedule and dispatch screen. So scheduling will look a little bit different if you would like to use that screen. You'll still have your, traditional, if you're going through the inspections tab, the ability to do that. But the service module is going to have the work orders, have you be able to have the materials list once it gets dispatched out to the technician in the field. The technician will be able to write up what they did, be able to add materials that they used in the field. They'll be able to do their time on site, and then they can submit that back to the office. From there, if you're using us for kind of all of it, ideally the flow would be, hey, you go do an inspection. You're out in the field, document deficiencies, create the proposals because you're using the proposal feature inside of InspectPoint. From there, they approve the proposal, work orders created, dispatched out to the service tech in the field. Service tech does what they need to do, sends it back to the office. You have a record of the completed work, then you dispatch out an invoice. So I hope that helps kind of explain the service. I will be, like I said, doing a whole webinar on service in March, where I'll give like a big teaser for it, and it'll probably be a little bit of a longer webinar because I know there's going to be a lot of questions about service. People are very excited about it, which is exciting to hear. Are there any other questions that anybody might have? Oh, I got another one here. Kathleen, I believe, so the question is, will you be able to turn the deficiency quotes into jobs? So if I'm understanding that correct, make the proposal into the work order, and I believe that you can. We're trying to make it because it all lives within within the software, being able to easily convert that to a work order. And I am about 98% sure that that happens. For some reason, I'm like blanking a little bit, but I'm pretty sure, yes, that you would be able to do that. You'd be able to take that proposal and turn that directly into the work order. All right, perfect. All right. Well, I'm glad that everyone is super excited about service. I really am. I think it'll be a really great addition. I think it'll create a really nice workflow, which that'll be a really great time. Like I said, when service comes out in April timeframe, April-May timeframe, around that time, people have a chance to use it. And then I'm really going to do another push for consultations so people can really talk about, okay, I'm getting stuck. Like, where's my workflow? I think workflows are really important to have in a company, right? Because then everybody knows what's happening, where everything is. And so that's what we'll be able to go over. I don't know if the techs will be able to invoice from the field. So the question is will the techs be able to invoice from the field? Technically, they can convert a proposal into an invoice and send that back to the office. But the office is technically the final approval, the only one that can like dispatch out the invoice or send out the proposal. So right now, it's still the current process. Definitely something, I think that request is still on the backlog about being able to just, create the invoice and send. But right now it is still the same way, being able to create the proposal, switch it to an invoice, send it back to the office, and then the office can send out the invoice as is. But like I said, something we can definitely still look into, especially with the service end of it. One thing you cannot do though is collect payment currently. But also something that we're looking to potentially have some sort of integration with a third-party payment collection, software or something along those lines as well. Any other questions anybody has? All right. All right, well then what I'll do is I'll stay on for a couple more minutes after this. But like I said, again, thank you so much for attending. This will be recorded and sent out to you. So if you do have any other questions or anything comes up, or if you want someone else in the office to see this webinar, feel free to forward it along to them. Like I said, I'll stay on for a couple more minutes, answer any more questions. But if anything comes up, the remainder of the day or anything else, feel free to reach out, and thanks again for attending.